Hello, my sewing friends. Today I have a rather unconventional haul. I am starting to feel like I am the unconventional sewer in the community. But I was doing some research for another quick tip video, I think, and I ran across a post on Pinterest, which led me to a blog post where they listed a whole slew of unconventional sewing notions that you could find at a hardware store, and specifically Harbor Freight, which is one of my favorite places to go because I'm a huge DIYer and I walk in there and Lowe's Hardware and Home Depot, places like that, and I just get dazzled by all the impact drivers and specialty paint brushes and, screwdriver sets and wood and, all of the things. My house is always under construction somehow. Right now it's kitchen cabinets that are being painted. But anyway, so I thought, I think I will just take myself right over to Harbor Freight and see what I can find. So I did find some things and I thought I would show those to you and maybe, kind of open your brain up a little bit to some unconventional ways to use tools that you might find at a hardware store for sewing notions. So first up, I got this little 3.5-inch locking clamp. Now I already had these. This is, it's a hemostat, and it was in my grandmother's sewing things. I don't know where she got this, but it's really a smart notion to have. Even though it's made for doctors to be able to use a needle to put stitches in people. And so it's a good way to hold something steady because it's got like tweezers and there's a little bit of a serrated edge. So this is the same thing, but it's just a smaller version. And so when I saw it, I thought, that's a good idea. And this ended up costing, I think it was $2.99, but I had a 20% off coupon. So all of these things were a little bit less. If you go to Harbor Freight, make sure you take your coupon. So, really great idea, especially when it comes to things like when you've torn a seam out because you had to tear it out for some reason, and you've got all these little pieces of threads that you need to get in there and just get out of there. You can really get a hold of them with this thing and pull them out. You can thread your serger with it. You can thread your regular sewing machine with them. They are just so handy. So $2.99, little tiny pair, and great idea. And they do lock. Once you, they've got this little edge on them, so if you want them to lock, they will, like that. Okay, so that's the first thing. The next thing I found was this little 4-inch magnetic parts holder. Well, first of all, it's magnetic, so it's going to hold your pins really nicely. It's like a little dish, and it's got a rubber bottom on it, so it's not going to go anywhere when you put it down on your cutting table or wherever on your ironing board and next to your sewing machine. And even if you wanted to clean up all the pins on the floor of your sewing room, all you'd have to do is wave this around and it would pull them up because it's magnetic. Isn't that a great idea? It's generally used for mechanics and techies and people who unscrew things and have to keep track of the screws or the small little metal parts. Maybe a small washer or, nuts, various things. There's like a picture there you can kind of see. Well, I use spray paint all the time. I mean, I always have some kind of spray paint out in my garage, and so I know that I can spray paint this and then put it in my sewing room and use it to corral pins and any other magnetic thing that I want. Isn't that a great idea? This was $2.99. $2.99. My magnetic pin cushion, which is over there by my sewing machine, I think was, I don't know, a lot more money than that. So yeah, really, really cheap, great idea. A really easy, simple thing I found was this 1-inch paintbrush. And the reason I got this was because I need to clean out my serger on a regular basis, and I don't know where my little brush with the twisted wire handle that comes with every serger, I don't know where it walked off to, But this is really nice because you have a much larger surface area in which to get in there and get all those little pieces of lint out of your machine and little pieces of thread and fabric. It's just really nice. And I've already used this actually because that just slides right off. Really great idea. I have a lot of great ideas for other uses for paintbrushes other than paint. Although I probably use them for paint most often. But anyway, this works great because you really can get in there and get that stuff out. $1. Next up is something that was not on the blog post that I read, but I had been meaning to get one of these. It's a chisel and a block of wood that you can get to open your buttonholes. And the idea is that you put your buttonhole on top of the wood and then you just push down, and that chisel is sharp enough that it will open up the buttonhole without you running the risk of snipping into the edges of the buttonhole with like a pair of scissors. Well, I was walking along and I happened to see these. These are wood chisels, and so they're probably not quite as sharp as the chisel is that you can buy as a Notion, but they were $6.99, and there are 3 sizes here. They are 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch chisels. So I thought that was brilliant. I thought, you know I have a little piece of wood or some kind of a thing that can go underneath the buttonhole, and one of these would work great. If I need to sharpen it, that's not a difficult thing to do at all. All you have to do is take a little bit of sandpaper, actually made for metallic surfaces, and just do that. So really, really great idea. And it was $6.99 for 3 of them. I don't know what the cost of the wood block and the chisel is, but I would venture a guess that it's more than $6.99. So that was a great find. And the last thing was the thing that really drew my eye when I read this blog post. And the reason is that my machine, and every machine, unless it's, really old, has a throat plate. When the throat plate is the bed of the machine, the little metal part that's right around where the needle is, usually they're marked with a seam allowance line. They're grooved into the metal, so you have like 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch, 1/2 inch, 5/8, and on up. Well, I can't ever see mine, and I've tried tape, I've tried other methods, and I thought, no, I need a better way to be able to see that seam line mark so that I get my seam lines right every time. Well, this little thing was $5.99, and I can't believe it was so cheap. It is a laser marker that is made to go on a circular saw. And what you do is you mount it, and it puts out a beam that then you can follow along. And I thought, that's genius! That's genius! You can use command adhesive, the kind that like a command hook would go with. That adhesive, it holds things, but it's easy to peel off and doesn't leave any damage when you do. So you can mount it with that and know exactly where your seam line is. I think that's so smart. That's so smart. So I haven't opened this because I wanted to show it to you first, but I will keep you posted as to how well it works. I'm really hoping it works well. And the idea, like I say, is genius. So that is my unconventional notions haul from Harbor Freight. If you have any other ideas about notions that you have that came from somewhere else that you've repurposed to use in your sewing room, please let me know in comments, and everybody else can also see them in comments. And many minds make really intelligent people, and really intelligent sewers too. So that's it for now for me, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.